మెంటర్స్ వాళ్ళ అనుభవాల్ని వాళ్ళకి సంబంధించి వాళ్ళ టాపిక్స్ ని మనకి రకరకాల సెషన్స్ లో డెలివర్ చేస్తూ వస్తున్నారు. That is through Tekshetra we are handling these kind of sessions. And at this time we have Dr. Ramana Murthy Garu. He is a PhD in management, and he is having different crowns on his head with his 50 years of experience as well as exposure also. So I would like to invite Ramana Murthy Garu to start the session and deliver your wisdom to us so that we can take some of that, and that would be helpful for many of the people that are present in this session. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity for me to introduce such an eminent person like you. Thank you. Please take over the session, sir.
At the outset, let me confess that I don't have any crowns on my head. All crowns are you people around me that who have a large heart inviting me to this beautiful platform. I appreciate the efforts of Sridhar and Surendra Garu and all his team for absolutely nourishing this Tekshetra platform. A lot of people. So my intention to make a presentation today is the complexity I see today, that human communication process is completely being a big question mark, because the relations what we talk about, or the entire thing is being run by human beings always. Of course, as tech people, you may say that you have information technology driven machines and heading for AI substituting human resources. But still, I see that there is a thing which cannot go beyond human resources as such. So in this context, I would like to make my points for your favorable consideration. Let me first share my screen. Somebody need help me if everything is going good or not. Okay, thank you so much. Friends, welcome to this session today. This is the art and science of human communication. Before we go further into it, when we talk about human communication, may I know your understanding on a human being as such? Human being. How do you define a human being? Any points of view? Please do not curse me. Why again in the beginning itself the questions? This is just to kickstart this session. We need to answer, because we are talking about art and science of human communication. So let me start again. In any organization as such, there are multiple resources. Like you have physical resource, you have technical resource, you have financial resource, you have human resources. Can you just again think of prioritizing those resources and tell me which resource is very important for organizational setting? And human resource? Why you think it's a human resource is such important? Of course, it does not mean that we are ignoring other resources, but it's a human resource which can manage or mismanage the resources given. So it is in this context we enunciate the importance of human resources in an organization. So when it comes to human resources, again, the human functionality again becomes a point of debate. So when we go again with this kind of a scenario, we need to understand human being, technically defining human being. Human being thinks, feels, and acts. Thinks. Do we think? Answer is yes. The brain bumpy knot inside the skull is a God-given gift which can help us to think. But very often we find reasons why we may not think logically, think creatively, and think for better things happening. And next one, of course, the problem again when we talk about human beings' brain, we often have a lot of controversial comments coming in. People often ask you, "Do you have brain?" Why this question? People don't ask you, "Why do you have kidney?" They ask us very often, "Do you have brain?" I did not have to expand further on that. And again, we said the human anatomy tells you that human brain is inside the skull, which is the nerve center for billions of nerve cells, which dictates your physiology and psychology. But people often, again, in controversial arguments, people often say that your mind is displaced from skull to kneecap, and from kneecap to the foot even. So this is what it means when we talk about human dysfunctionality. So thinking process may not be adequately good enough. Then comes the second aspect. Human being feels. That's excited states. We are born with two nervous systems, like sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system hormonal secretions result in excited states, maybe anger, maybe happiness, or whatever it is. So these feelings will temporarily readjust our body system. So our functionality get influenced when you have this feeling, excited states, mental oscillations. So what happens when you're angry? How much time it takes for you to come to normalcy? Again, even at an excited state like terrible happiness or whatever you experience, may force you not to what I can say. You're not as normal as you are supposed to be. So emotional orientations, I mean, emotional arousals also is a very major issue that can disturb your functionality. And our communication process may derail when you have this kind of excited feelings. And of course, there is a parasympathetic nervous system which controls normalcy. But unfortunately, we don't give sufficient time for parasympathetic nervous system to control normalcy. And we do all the things in that excited state. That's again another important dimension of a human being. Second, a third one is human being acts, of actions and behavior. It's often said people are known by their actions, not by their words, because we often mingle together, and our actions count a lot wherever you are, whether you are in an informal setting or a formal setting. So with this background, let's engage ourselves for another few minutes on communication, human communication process. We're not talking about electronic communications. We're not talking about anything except human communication as such. Human communication is a civilized bipartite confrontation, very civilized atmosphere. You and me are exchanging these words, of course, on a what I can say is an electronic communication going on here on an online Zoom call, whatever it is. So there is a common sense understanding that non-confrontationist approach is the undercurrent, where we'll be exchanging of thoughts, feelings, and actions also. So here, when we talk about communication, a simpler definition, it's an exchange of ideas, exchange of thoughts, exchange of feelings with a purpose. Without any purpose, there is a sense of painting together. So organization where it consists of network with a well-defined purpose. Of course, even in domestic setting as well. So when you have this purpose in mind, where you exchange your ideas, thoughts, and feelings, that's what we call is communication. Okay, then you exchange ideas, feelings, thoughts, fine then. But for what? The transference of an understanding of meaning. That means when I say something, I'm transferring some information. I am conscious of the media through which I'm conversing with you. And I'm trying to make you understand. I understand first what I need to talk to you. And I make you understand that what I'm talking to you. And that there must be an understanding of meaning between the sender and the receiver. We come to that roles in human communication and the essential aspects of it. Fundamentals of the communication process before we deal with them in detail. That's one. First one is you need to transfer it. You must have the ability to transfer. And understanding of the meaning. There is no purposeless conversation. The purposeless conversation is not communication at all. Conscious conversations we talk about. So when we say that understanding of meaning, again, meaning that the receiver should understand clearly what the sender means. That's why we say gentle hint here is communication is not simply what sender sends, but it is what receiver receives. The purpose behind it is underlined. So now, before communication can take place, as I've already told you, a purpose must be clearly defined and clearly expressed as a message to be conveyed. And the need for conveying this message also must be properly be placed in its place. So it passes between the sources, sender, and goes to the receiver in a two-way process of communication. Fundamentally, if you look at the communication process on a diagram, just to take note of it, please note here, there is a sender here, and there is a receiver here. What we said, it is sending some information, what we said, with some purpose, and there's a need for understanding of that particular message and all that. So sender sends. Please note what happens when you're conversing in personal conversations or whatever it is, even in the case of domestic settings or official settings. The message, of course, when you have sender and receiver within a reach, you can easily reach receiver through your verbal message. You present and receiver also present with you, and you sit across the table and discuss whatever it is. But please note that the sender's message is using a particular channel or what we call as a medium. For example, you're talking to me, I'm talking to you, for example, I am using a medium, of course, verbal, but at the same time on a Zoom call. So I need to be conscious about the channel in which I'm using in order to reach you. Same thing happens in any setting for that matter, even domestic setting or an official setting as such. We shall see what are these things and how do you, what care you need to take on. See here, I just given in this simple chart, I try to explain further. This is clear, channel. What is the channel you use? Modes of communication, what we may say. For example, you're communicating through email or a letter, or you're conversing on a telephone, or you're sending an email, for example, or you're on across the table, one-to-one and one-to-many verbal communication. So when you're there again, verbal also includes non-verbal. And non-verbal gestures also. We shall come to that a little later. That's also very important. That's what we refer to as the body language. So let us be clear about the channel first. Okay, right. So then what happens here is you have volumes and volumes of information to be conveyed. You need to encode it. Encoding is you have to think in terms of whatever it is before you send the message. Because what happens is there should not be any communication overload. So please think properly. From the sender side, I'm saying, please think properly what to communicate, what not to communicate. So sometimes brevity counts a lot. So when you have this, you need to encode it. For example, when you on a camera, you use this thumbs up. Thumbs up always conveys that you're in good spirit, good mood, and receiver can decode it. Again, when I say this encoding step should be effectively be followed by decoding. Any message which is wrongly encoded will wrongly decoded by the receiver. Please note that these two are responsible for good communication or faulty communication as such. Note that every communication is action oriented. It is for action orientation. We are not, again, I told you at the beginning itself, we are not for purposeless communication. We are sitting here for conscious communications, conscious conversations. Hence, sender and receiver's role should be clearly be taken care of, both the sender as well as the receiver in organizational scenarios. So receiver again sends the feedback whether it is understood or not. So the cycle completes. I shall discuss these things just in detail. Let's go ahead. Sender, before you communicate, maybe through any medium, you can say you want to talk to in a verbal mode, or you want to send a letter, email, or whatever it is, or a WhatsApp message or Telegram message, whatever it is. The first important thing is you need to develop an idea. What is that you want to communicate? And unless you have that kind very clear, it becomes a problem area for you, because whatever you send must be properly received by the receiver. Then you need to encode it, because there are lots and lots and lots of ideas you have. But again, you have to think in terms of making it as brief as possible, because time is a very scarce resource. So what happens here, whether you draft an email or make a conversation or make a WhatsApp call or WhatsApp message, please note that you need to have a very clearly defined idea and sum up the things. Then transmit. When you want to transmit, here comes the medium that you use. Are you calling him verbally, or in a one-to-one meet, or you are using telephone, or you're using an electronic communication, email, or whatever it is. Depending upon that, your message must be fine-tuned. And if the transmission is done, again, it goes to receiver. That's it. There is an encoding part and decoding part also. Encoding part is for the sake of brevity, you encode the message that is being sent, and receiver receives it through a medium. And there are certain barriers, we can say. What are those barriers? I'd like to sum up a brief. Because if these filters are not properly handled, then the message can be erroneous. See, these things happen only in case of human communication. You say, for example, in machine communication for that matter. For example, I press a key on a keyboard, like I press D here. My visual display unit monitor displays only D, not anything else. But in case of human communication, there are a lot of bottlenecks. And these bottlenecks must be understood properly. In case where you are organizing meetings or interpersonal communication, normally at given points of time now. So we need to be very clear about these type of barriers. Let's examine what are these barriers. Normally, these barriers can be classified into physical barriers, psychological barriers, and semantic barriers. Let's have a look at this. What's a physical barrier? The name implies, the physical barrier is a barrier which is disturbing us. For example, when you're talking together today in a Zoom call, you find some disturbances. Some people are not on mute, and that can create some sort of disturbance. That is observable, recognizable, and we may request people to sit calm so that the purpose of exchange is fulfilled. Same thing happens in case where, for example, when you're holding a meeting one-to-one or one-to-many, and AC is making a noise or fans are making noises. So what happens, we can recognize them and we can handle that physical barrier as far as possible. Of course, something very bigger voices that are coming out of the campus, we don't have any things except to shut the doors and windows and all. So these physical barriers are not much of a thing, because we are taking extra care to minimize these physical barriers. There is no problem at all. But what is a psychological barrier? What is a psychological barrier? Can you tell me? This happens only in case of human communication process. Human communication process. Biggest problem is psychological barrier. Can you tell me? Anybody can interact here. What do you understand by psychological barrier, and which is causing a lot of problem?
Good morning, sir. I'm Hemalata. So psychological barriers in the sense, first case is what we need to express correctly. We first cannot understand what we need to express or how we need to send the information. And one more thing is how negative biases adi main ga untundi.
Okay. Thank you for your intervention. The problem now is when two human beings come together, there is what we now call about ego problems. For example, if there is no fairness in conversational freedom in an organization, what may happen is psychological security is at stake. So I feel convinced about my psychological security, psychological safety, so that I can talk freely to my boss, to my subordinate as such. So in between, even in domestic settings also, people have lots and lots of filters where that can derail your communication processes. So psychological barrier is such a thing which is being what you call rounded up with your ego problems and all that. That will disturb free play of communication. And listeners may stop listening, senders may distort their communication. This is how it happens, the biggest problem. But it's not the case with machine communication as such. For example, if you switch on a machine and it starts working, but when you switch on, where do you want to switch on a human being? Human beings will have two problems: ability to work and willingness to work. Ability to work is about your skill set and capability to do and deliver. But willingness is psychological willingness. I don't want to work in this room. I don't want to work with this machine. I don't want to work in a particular place like that. So there are a lot of, I'm not interested to work with X, Y, Z and all. So these things come when we talk about human work as such, human beings working atmosphere. So these psychological barriers. Then about semantic barriers. Semantics is science of meaning. Science of meaning, because this is particular to organizational settings, particular to settings as such. For example, to simplify this, you use various emblems, right? We use various emblems, abbreviations, etc. For example, when I am talking to tech people here, you can understand what is hardware and software. Am I clear what I'm saying? You say that you press Control X, Control V. See, I'm a layman with reference to the use of computer, for example. All your words are Greek and Latin for me. So like that, when you, for example, organizations also may use in their filing systems today. You may name the files the A01, A02, whatever it is. A newcomer cannot understand if you ask him to get that A01 file as where it is. So these are a lot of issues when we talk about semantics. For example, I may ask you one thing. What do you mean by RBI? What is RBI? It's an abbreviation. What is RBI? Can you tell me what is RBI?
Reserve Bank of India.
Reserve Bank of India. How can I take this Reserve Bank of India? I may say the regional investigation, regional bureau of investigation. I may say it is regional bureau of investigation. Don't you take me in? Here comes the issue, because sir, RBI is a recognized thing. For anybody, RBI is Reserve Bank of India. But when these kind of abbreviations are used, what may happen is organization-specific abbreviations are used, all must be conversant about those things. Otherwise, there is a semantic barriers, we say. Lots of things like. So this is again another important issue to talk about barriers in between receiver and sender and as such. Now, if you happen to handle the barriers adequately well, now next phase is receiver. As I've already told you, again I repeat that whatever you communicate is not what simply sender sends, but it is what receiver receives at the end of the day. And that lead to action orientation as such. So receiver receives and then decodes it. So they derive meaning out of it. That's why we said encoding phase is very critical. At the same time, decoding phase is also very critical. Receiver says, no, you have, you told me like that. Sender says, no, I did not tell like that. I told you like this. So there is a gulf, there is a gap. So this is the problem with regard to encoding and decoding. I am not extending the things further because encoding, decoding does not mean the technical jargon. So the sender has to be very clearly clear in mind how to transfer the idea. Transference of meaning, what we have said, it is not simply transference of meaning also. Otherwise, what happens is receiver may not receive it appropriately and there can be gaps. So receiver decodes, that is deriving meaning out of that, and then use. He uses the message as it is understood. So this is the complete cycle, what we can say. So here comes the problem of the barriers. You know, when there are physical barriers, they can be properly filtered because you recognize the physical barrier, you manage it properly, there is no problem at all. So the message is difficult, transference may be difficult because of some physical barrier, but we can manage the physical barriers and then it is properly filtered. But in case of psychological barriers, something happens definitely in human communication, ego problems and all that. Please note that if the psychological barriers are not properly handled in human communication process, the message get blocked, completely blocked. In semantic barriers, yes, of course, there is a difficulty, but at the same time, it's not completely blocked, but they are improperly be filtered because we don't know the meaning of certain things. There may be a little misunderstanding of names, abbreviations, symbols, emblems that you use and all, numbers, and all these things may result in some sort of a problem. Okay, the three parts in communication, what we have said, the communication is sending, understanding, and feedback. I think I need not have to come back to the chart I have depicted. It is sending, of course, very important. And on the other side, understanding is very important because the understanding of meaning is very important. And any kind of understanding or misunderstanding must be fed back again so that the sender may revise communication or understood that the message is sent properly and there is a required action orientation. So these three parts in human communication are said to be very important. So far, so good with regard to senders of communication, receivers of information. Let us examine what are the requirements, specific requirements in human communication from the sender side and from the receiver side also. I have already told you, again, I just repeat one or two aspects here. Senders must be very clear what to communicate. Very, very important. What to communicate. Otherwise, it becomes very, very ambiguous. Ambiguous communications can be distorted, please note. As far as possible, you need to answer this question, what to communicate clearly. Otherwise, problem arises. Next, whom to communicate. This is another interesting thing. See, what happens, you please identify who are your target people to communicate. So, for example, in domestic setting, you communicate the same thing to your better half differently, to your spouse differently, to your children differently. Same problem, same thing. So that's where the problem lies. Please identify the target person who is there, identify, and you can use whatever words, whatever you call it, because the human emotion counts a lot. Human emotion counts a lot. So that's why whom to communicate is another important thing. And how you are communicating is media. We should just come to that. And when we express our feelings and ideas and all that. And effectiveness of the media and the use of the media also is very, very important, because especially when the sender and receiver are at a distant places where they may not see one-to-one. They may see one-to-one. Again, then it comes to our and verbal exchange and also body language, etc. also count. We shall just discuss that just now. So what to communicate, whom to communicate, how to communicate, the media you use, and the effectiveness of the media also influences your communication process. Now, in organizational settings, let's say what are these concepts that are being used? Formal communication, informal communication, one-way communication, two-way communication. Is between sender and receiver. Say, for example, from boss to subordinate, it's highly formal. It'll be documented. For example, email is a formal communication if agreed upon, and there is a circular that is sent. It's a formal communication agreed upon. So formal communication is in a structured organization. It will be in a structured pattern. It's highly formal. That means no questions further asked on that. So that is the formal communications. Mostly official communications in organizational settings are formal communications. Informal communications are what? They may create some sort of a problem also. We shall come to that. Informal communications are not between boss and subordinate. It is not between decision point and decision implementers. It's something, some conversations that go on. I'm taking organizational context as an example, so that you can understand it better. For example, when you talk something about the organization, about the bosses in a canteen, and these are called canteen conversations or water cooler conversations. See, we meet a lot. We meet lots of people somewhere outside the organization also. For example, over an informal meet or a function or whatever it is you do. These are called informal communications. No formality there. But of course, there is plus and minus, which will come to that a little later. Then one-way communication. One-way communication is mostly what we see in organizations as directions. They flow from top to bottom. Care must be taken here in drafting. These directions also come straight away from top people to bottom, so that it should be completely understandable. It's kind of an instruction given. There can be no, again, down to top communication. It's an instruction. You have to understand that and implement. Simple. That's all. So care must be taken here in drafting these instructions also. One way it is called. Two-way is your inviting feedbacks also, as the name implies. Boss to subordinate, subordinate to boss. Sometimes, your suggestion systems or what you call it, and you may ask the subordinate to come back to revert your opinion, revert with your opinion and all. This is called two-way communication. Of course, in given a set of circumstances, there will be one-way communication, and most of the time you have two-way communication, where it is human communication is always two-way. Horizontal communication in organization setting is peer-to-peer communications. It is peer-to-peer, equal status individual to another equal status individual, from purchase department to some HR department to somebody finance department. This is called horizontal communications. So this is formal setting of communication methods normally used in organizations, and care must be taken at every method as such. Let's look at the medium of communication. Here, again, the crux of the problem may be here also. Today we have, do we have written communications today?
Yes.
Letter writing.
Rarely.
Letter.
Email.
Yes, Sridhar.
letter writing, like email.
Yes. Now, usually we used to have letter writing normally, but today, because of the IT revolution, you have digital communications only. And digital communication come here, that you may use digital media, like, of course, for short things and quick message reporting. You can today you can also use the social media like WhatsApp communications, which can be very quick. This thing, and some organizations may officialize that, and some organizations may not still officialize WhatsApp communications. That's a different thing. But with regard to in official settings, mostly in a civilized communication patterns, if you would like to talk to one, you have an email. Most of us do not understand how to write an email, and there is a lot of rules with regard to email writing. I don't know. Some of you might be in a position to clearly understand what is email writing and certain fundamentals of email writing. There are certain protocols of email writing. And of course, the discussion is not on email writing. I'm not into that in detail, but I just use this session only for an introductory canvas of human communication process. I think you are well aware with that. So please be careful about written communication formats. Very, very important. Most of the time we have email, and email protocols must be properly understood. They may differ from industry, company to company, but anyway, you must be extra careful. Second is verbal. This is very important. When we talk about verbal communications, for example, when you're sitting in a meeting, one-to-one, it can be one-to-many in a meeting. The choice of words are said to be very, very important. Your verbal exchange is called verbal exchange. When you're physically present, you're physically present. Of course, when you're on a conversation over a phone, telephone, for example, there also there is verbal. So how your tone, tenor is said to be very important. I just give you some few fundamentals about verbal communication. When you're in a verbal communication format, it's your power of voice. So some people will be speaking differently, different settings. I'm not here to comment this way, that way, but certain communication experts explain the necessity of managing your tone and tenor and your vocabulary also. They say, don't speak to sound smart, speak to sound understood. Speak to be understood, sorry. Don't speak to sound smart. There's no need for us to make our voice louder, but speak to be understood clearly. The vocabulary, the things that you use, and so convincing that the other person is in a positive. He or she will lend a positive ear when your tone and tenor are grounded with some sort of civilized tone and tenor. So there are 5 power tips communication experts talk about. First is clarity beats vocabulary. Please do not use extraordinary jargon. It's also called jargon monoxide. It's a satire on people who can hijack the meetings. If you want to hijack a meeting, use your jargon, where other people cannot understand what you are talking. Extraordinary vocabulary, something like that. It's also called jargon monoxide. Make people in a confused state of affairs. And ultimately, after 1.5 hours of meeting, they walk out without anything, because that's what executive wants. The meeting is held, but nothing is delivered. So please make sure that you use simple words. This is a practical approach of handling meetings, handling conversations in a human communication mode. Clarity beats vocabulary. Simple words create strong impact minded. When I use extraordinary vocabulary in English command at my command, English at my command, I may feel great for what I have done, but nothing reaches the other party. That is suicidal. The second, emotion before information. Make sure that if you would like to convey a happy scenario, because I'm not witnessing anything. I mean, I'm not with the connection is not with the physical one body and one body as such, right? And you and me seeing together across the table. No, it is on a what you call telephone conversation for that matter. Or if it is verbal also, connect hearts first. Facts will follow. For example, when I sit with you, I can a smile, just a smile on my face. I'm connecting the hearts, and then facts will also follow automatically. Same thing happens on a verbal communication format over a telephone, for example. Emotion first. So that is the tone and tenor explains that clearly. That connects the heart. So that's it. Third one is pause is power. For example, the conversations are heated. For example, see, there are certain conversations which are very happy, and there are certain conversations which are unhappy between people. Difficult conversations. In case when you're handling difficult conversations in a verbal format, make sure that silence makes words heavier. Pause is power. Pause, just pause, and again start conversing. Start conversing. So that's pausing is very, very important. The fourth, tone carries the truth. I have already told you just now. How you say matters more than what you say. That is interesting aspect. That counts a lot in human communications. You might be seeing a lot of people uttering the same word differently. So your tone matters, friends. Your tone matters the truth. Tone carries the truth. I'm sorry. Your tone matters. And five, one message, one outcome. Speak with intent, not impulse. You speak with intent. You have an intent in your mind and speak, not with impulse speech. So because you have valid idea to to convey, please do that. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. So your words don't need always a big volume. They need direction. That's why what I'm saying, see, human communication is tricky when you're with sufficient anger on your subordinate. So when you're communicating over a telephone or across the table, please make sure that your words don't need volume, but they need direction. So you filter your things, words and whatever you call it, and then make the communication most civilized. That's what it means actually when we talk about it. Okay, this is a non-verbal. We just consider body language a little later. Now, this is a major issue today. Informal communications. Communications happening outside the formal communication channels. These will make a lot of havoc in the society today. See, this is a thing, there are no checks and balances. For example, you forget what your boss has told, or boss has sent some message. You can check your inbox and check your mails, cross-check on such and such a date the mail has come and all that. Is it true or not? Whatever it is, that these can be cross-checked when you have a information storage and retrieval systems in its place. Official communications do generally have this communication storage and retrieval, and that's possible. But in case where informal communications happening outside the formal communication channels, these are unofficial channels. I was talking to you on canteen communications, canteen conversations, water cooler conversations, golf club conversations. How these things mean? Because human beings communicate everywhere they meet. So when you sit in a canteen over a cup of tea, you'll be talking more and more about your organizational settings. Sometimes, for example, sometimes the information is authentic. Sometimes you may say, no, how can you say this? You may say that, no, I heard from somebody. That's why I'm. So if you want to check the truth in it, nobody can dare to check the truth in it, because those are called hearsay. Hearsay. No, somebody, I just heard from so and so. You ask him and he says, no, I heard from somebody just like this. So this kind of conversations play havoc. This is where you need to understand rumors. Rumor. Have you heard about rumors? How rumors are spread? How rumors create havoc in organizations? In any settings for that matter. Rumor, what is a rumor? How you define a rumor? Rumor is defined as interest times the ambiguity of the situation. For example, the situation is very ambiguous. You have a very keen interest in that. Am I clear what I'm saying? Please carefully follow what I say.
Yes, yes.
There is an ambiguity of the situation. Nobody knows what's happening. And you have interest times the ambiguity of the situation. Meaning the interest you have in that ambiguous, if the situation is non-ambiguous, crystal clear, there's no problem at all. You're not information craving, but you want, you have a lot of hunger on information flow. You want to ask what is happening, what happened, and all that. So this is how it happens. There is no cross check, not possible. And what happens if everything goes healthy? It's fine. But in most of the cases, it goes unhealthy. Rumors are always may create havoc. It may be true in the case of, in political settings as well, in countries' context. That's why the government of India or the state governments release communication. Don't believe rumors. This is this official communications. That's the reason why we say in organizations also that any sensitive information is being floated. There are lots of sensitive issues that are being floated, and they're not supported by formal communication network. This creates a lot of psychological anxiety in employees. Is it not the responsibility of the top management to cross-check this? The answer is yes, especially when you're handling a crisis situation, a change situation, when you're navigating changes. All these informally ignited, non-official communications flow like anything. So you need to check it. So that's why organizations take care of issuing circulars, information bulletins very often, so that they announce all formal news. Please do not be guided by unnecessary rumors that are being floated. This is the happening. This is the fact, they say. So this is with regard to informal communication pattern. Here comes little exercise. Can we have Sridhar sir, and can we have some time?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have officially we have minutes.
Okay. Are you ready with pen and paper, please? Anybody, please?
Yes, sir.
Pen and paper. Yeah. Quick.
All of them have.
Sorry.
All of them have. So.
Okay. Fine. Thank you so much. Please go through the exercise. This is a 1 minute exercise. 1 minute. I mean to say a 5-minute exercise. Please note. I just read for you, and as soon as I read, I change the slide. My instruction is clear. I read for you, and I change the slide and ask for your answers. Are you ready?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
We change the slide.
Okay, I just changed the slide because the reason is that you have to finish off the exercise, reading and all that, and as such you have to follow the instructions given. The title of the exercise, please note, how fast you can read and comprehend. In order to avoid confusion of vision on my slide, I am reading through, and make sure that you go for very quick workings. Very, very quick workings. I cannot revert back the slide again. Please note how fast you can read and comprehend. Here is the test to see how fast you can read and comprehend. Read the following instructions. 1. Read all the items from 1 to 10 first. Second, draw a square to the left of number 5. 3. Please go on with your actions. 3. Circle number 1 in the test. 4. Write the letters W, Y, Z at the bottom of the page. 5. Write the total of 5 plus 7 plus 2. 7 plus 32. 6th, write the meaning of Sachameva Jayate in the margin. 7. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for yourself. 8. Write your name. Write your name on the line shown below. 9. Do the following problem and write the answer. Problem is 42 multiplied by 7 plus 36 plus 6. You can count and write there. 10. Now that you have just read all the items, write only your name at the bottom of the page and wait for the others to finish. This slide is changed. I hope you have completed your workings. Those who want time, I'll just give you 2 more minutes of time and then we'll be moving on to the next test. Take 2 more minutes if you don't have time to work out on problems and all that. 2 more minutes for you. Next, if you say yes, we go to test 2. No time. We can't take too much of time like that. Okay, done? Because I'm on full screen, I don't know how many have done it, and I'm not also having access to my chat box even. Okay, that's all the time, please. You can't do more than, you can't take more than this time. Okay, let's go with, friends, are you ready to take the test 2, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here is the test again, that you have to read only once. This test again, this para that's given, you have to only read once. Okay, in order to help you, I am reading, and the directions will follow after this paragraph. An automatic lift with 6 passengers. Please note that you are instantaneously working out whenever I am reading it. Please note. An automatic lift with 6 passengers starts from top floor of an office building. At the first stop, 2 passengers get off and no one gets on. At the next stop, no one gets off, but 3 people get on. At the next stop, 2 more people get off and no one gets on. 4 people get off at the next stop. The next time it stops, 3 people get on. At the next floor, 2 people get on. It stops again and 6 people get off. That's the thing. Directions. Write your answer in the space below. Write your answers in the space below.
Sir, here, what is the question, sir?
I don't know, sir. The direction given, you write whatever you feel like writing.
Oh,
I cannot tell you anything at this point of time.
sure.
Thank you. At the end, read the following statement thoroughly, but only once. Then follow the directions given below. Statement. You're the pilot of Indian Airlines Boeing going from Mumbai to Calcutta. There are 120 people on board, including 20 children, 20 married couple, 60 single businessmen who are traveling as a part of convention group and 6 crew members. The plane leaves Santa Cruz Airport at 11:15 a.m. and is scheduled to arrive at Dum Dum Airport, Calcutta Airport at 12:15 p.m. The distance traveled is about 1,100 miles. Directions. Now put this sheet face down and answer the question asked by the faculty member. I'm putting this sheet face down. Yeah. Now sheet face down, sorry, put this sheet face down, answer the question asked by the faculty member. Are you ready with my question?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
My question is, can you guess the age of the pilot? Can you guess the age of the pilot with the data given?
40 plus.
What is 40 plus? Age means exact age I want.
40 years, sir.
40 years, around 40 years?
Yes, sir.
Or exactly 40 or around 40 years or something? I don't know.
40 years, sir.
40 years. As others also can. Other friends present on the panel, please try to answer.
I am the pilot, my age only, sir.
Absolutely right. That's the gentle, because in written communication, what happens is even simpler words, ignoring simpler words may mean a lot. See, the statement is, you are the pilot of Indian Airline Boeing. Especially when you read instructions in print, for example, email or whatever it is, something definitely goes wrong. Some key word you'll be missing, the entire meaning gets distorted. It's a very tricky game. It can be it can be a teasing exercise also. Please excuse me for that. But it's just to demonstrate a gentle hint of reading a written communication, how we fail essential details sometimes. See, the statement starts, you are the pilot of Indian Airline Boeing. When you are the pilot of Indian Airline Boeing, what is the thing? When I ask you a question, what's the age? Guess the age. I just misled you, willingly misled you. Guess the age of the pilot. When you are the pilot, you are there here. The age is your age only. Am I clear what I'm saying? So again, don't shoot me with another question, sir. I am sitting here. How can it happen that I'm traveling by plane in Santa Cruz and all that? So this is a gentle hint that comes out of this exercise. Are you clear about how we fail in the process of reading written communication, reading emails for that matter, reading letters, reading office notes, for example? These things count a lot. Please take note of it. So it's automatically. What is your answer, please? Can you count? Give me the count exactly.
0.
0. Nobody is there in the lift?
Yes, when it's reached the ground.
When it reaches the ground. Okay,
0.
fantastic.
Zero.
Sorry?
0, sir.
Zero, sir.
0. 0?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic. But please note that somebody has rightly asked a question, but I just disowned his answer earlier. Please note, write your answer in this space below. Where is the question? Where is the question? Is your 0 answer is meaningful? You thought you have actually calculated the number of passengers. But my question may be, how many number of times the lift has stopped? Or what is the name of the lift boy if it is not automatic lift? See, there can be multiple questions based on the statement. So
Yes,
when you give an answer, you define your perceptual question and answering it. That's again a mistake. Because when there is no question, why do you answer? See, we struggle a lot even answering well-defined questions. Why do you worry about an answer when there is no question at all, friends? So this is again a problem area when you look at how confused we are in the process of giving answers to many puzzles. There is no question. We can as well write here. What you can write when there is no question, there can be no answer. Somebody has asked rightly, what is the question he asked? But I denied it because the what I should say, the magic of this exercise is disclosed. That's why I just disowned his answer. That's the reason.
No problem, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's the reason. That's it. Okay, let's come on. How many of you have completed all 10 questions, please?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm not visualizing you. That's the problem.
Yes, yes. Completed.
Completed all 10? All 10?
Yes, sir.
Fine, fine. How many have completed 9 questions, 8 questions because of time?
I completed only 9, sir.
9, okay.
I completed only one question, sir.
One
Last
question,
10th
fine,
one.
fine. Okay, fine, fine. The answer is out almost here. See, what happens is, how fast can you read and comprehend? The title itself is very clear. And the exercise starts like this. Read the following instructions. Okay, so you start reading the instructions. First instruction, what said? It said, read all the items from 1 to 10 first. See, if you want to follow the instruction, you have to follow the instruction letter and spirit. So read all the items from 1 to 10 first. So what is the next step you need to follow? Read second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th. On 10th instruction, what is said? Now that you have just read all the items, write only your name at the bottom of the page and wait for the others to finish. So what's there in answering all the 9 questions? Nobody did ask you to all read all these. I'm sorry, do all the problems or whatever it is. Read. See, that's what it means. When instructions, proceedings you are reading, orders you are reading, internally coming in to your desktop, to your table, or on your mailbox. When there are instructions given, how you follow the instructions is a very major issue. So those who have written all, write the letters WZ and adding 5, 7, 32 is all not necessary. You have to complete it by reading the 10th instruction. Now that you have just read all the items from 10 to 1 to 10, write only your name at the bottom of the page and wait for the others to finish. You have to write only your name and stop there. That's what exercise is asking you. Look at my dear friends, it's not making this session a mockery. My intention is to make you clear about how we miss instructions, reading instructions. Very careful, because all these are decision oriented. When you're functioning in a responsible setting in a given set of circumstances in organizations, how risky it is to ignore instructions. Extra care is needed when there are instructions. Instructions are decision bound. You're asked to decide on the points given. So these things mean a lot. So please, how your mind get disturbed when reading through written communications, especially. This, of course, on a later vein, you just consider what it means actually. Okay. Okay. This is again another interesting aspect. Do you know that our bodies speak? Are you convinced about our bodies speak? Especially when you're in interpersonal communications physically, when you're addressing your colleague sitting across the table, or when you're meeting a group of people, or you're representing your company, you're making a presentation to clients, or you're making a presentation to your colleagues, whatever it is. You're not only speaking, your body also speaks. Do you agree that your body speaks volumes of?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. The gentle hint here is God has given us beautiful bodies, but we make them as awkward as possible before others. Don't blame the God for that. You blame yourself by not modulating your bodies. Body is yours, and body language also is yours. Why these things? Why you have to be extra cautious on your body movements? Please note that in every communication setting, 70% what we communicate accounts for body language. especially in verbal settings. You are also non-verbal in exchanging what you call gestures, etc. Your facial expressions, etc. All these count 70% of the total communication. And the tone of voice is 20%. Actual words is 10%. This is what experts indicate. So the entire information reaching the brain through 5 senses: your sight, your hearing, your touch, your taste, and your smell. So please try to understand the body language of yours. So out of the total communication, 85% out of this body movement, whatever it is said that 85% through eyes, 10% through ears, and 5% through other senses. So how cautious you should necessarily be in managing and mastering your body language. Extra exercises are very much necessary for you to fine-tune your body. Very, very important. Of course, this session is not actually on body language. Sometime we can find some nice time, an exclusive conversation we can have on body language with examples. Let's see, how does our body speak? Like any spoken language, body language has words, sentences, and punctuation. This is unseen, but it will be visible. It may not be seen by you, but it will be visible by others. The way in which you sit, the way in which you stand, the way in which you use your hands, and when you're sitting, you're crossing the legs like a right leg on the left leg or left leg on the right leg. And when you shake hands, and what's the grip you maintain with others when shaking hands. So each gesture is like a single word or a couple of words. And one word may have several different meanings that is conveyed by body. Am I clear what I'm saying? So it needs a lot of practice if you would like to fine-tune your body. Look at these faces. Of course, it's hypothetical. Each face resembles each feeling. So when intentionally or unintentionally, we'll be using our faces because we have lots of feelings running in our mind, right? When you don't like a person sitting before you to talk to, and your face definitely will be easily be understood that that person is an irritating person with whom you're talking and all that, and your body may not hide all those feelings. But here comes the problem, and you would like to fine-tune your body because you're managing, maintaining and managing the civilized conversations. So whatever comes, you should not instantaneously act. You have to fine-tune, scrutinize yourself, and stage manage. This is not hypocrisy-minded, friends. It is not hypocrisy. It is a decent way of exhibiting your body, make the conversation so smooth. That's what body language is all about. If you want to hide your feeling, yes, you have to hide your feeling, because if the purpose behind conversation, we have already said, communication is with a defined purpose. So as such, in your personal conversations, face-to-face conversations, also these hand gestures, facial movements, facial gestures also are said to be very, very important as such. It is a gentle hint coming out here. We do not have bodies. We are bodies. We are our bodies ourselves. Please note. So we are total when you're there physically present here. So make sure that you recognize your body gestures, fine-tune. In case where it is necessary, you need to consult experts even to fine-tune your body gestures. And then especially in personal, in face-to-face conversations, you must have to depict that humbleness from your body, and so that there is a congenial atmosphere in between sender and receiver, and you are taken in. Otherwise, lot of issues coming in. Now let's talk about listening. I just stop here after this exercise also. Am I visible to all friends? Am I visible to all?
Yeah, you are visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clearly visible, sir. Can you see me clearly?
Yes.
Because I am just demonstrating an exercise here on listening. So tell me, what are your listening scores? If you want to assess yourself on listening scores, most of the time we listen, right? There's a difference between hearing and listening.
Yes, sir.
We can demonstrate that just now. So I want a simple answer from you all friends here sitting. If you want to assess yourself, what can be your scores? Out of 10 or out of 100? If you want to give percentages, fine. Britannia 50, because you are just
80%.
90%, sir.
80, 90%?
Yes, sir.
Anybody?
Sir, 30%.
30%? Why, ma'am? Why you're...
Sir, I hear, but listening, I don't understand people's emotions, sir, so easily.
Why can't you ask them again?
I already I already have in mind that I understood, but after very much time, I understand that I didn't understand.
Very tricky. Okay. Does not matter. Everybody will have that kind of a limitation as such. So now we are going to demonstrate, and you can as well check your scores. Are you ready with me, please?
Yes.
Yeah, a little physical exercise is put your pens and papers down. I want some physical movements from you. Don't get afraid. No gymnastics now, but just physical movements of your hands. You please give me your hands straight. Meaning that you please listen to me. Okay, are you ready? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please look to me. Look to me. Towards me. Please take this. Please hold the fist. Take the fist and hold it. Hold. Okay. Open. Hold. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Now you open your index fingers only. Check yourself. You opened the thumb or the index finger. I said index finger.
Yeah.
I'm not here to check because I'm on full screen. Could you get the point?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Errors here. What is the error? See, of course, I said something and I have shown something. Life is like that only. Complex scenarios, what happens is like this only. I said clearly. See, what I am showing is not important. What I am saying is very important. What I am showing is not important. That's what listening is all about. You ask your ears now, are they not deceiving you? In a clutter, see, please make sure again and again, second time, I'm saying, confessing that I'm not interested to make this session a mockery. If I were to be on the other side, I would also make the same mistake, my dear friends.
Yeah.
In a clutter, our listening quotient is under threat. So because that's the biggest problem. So with this, I close formally, and I shall leave the